JB!
Derek, surprise, surprise.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Nice to see you. And where are we today?
Well, today, Derek, we are indeed here in England at Twickenham.
No, we're not at Twickenham. It's nothing like Twickenham. Look, it's a small part. Where exactly are we today?
Absolutely. We're actually at the Boroughmuir Rugby Football Club ground here in Edinburgh.
We are at Boroughmuir Rugby Club, and Boroughmuir Rugby Club was established in 1919. Did you know, JB, that the logo they've got, the emblem, they actually got from Boroughmuir High School? And this has been the product of some good Scottish rugby players, such as Graham Hogg and Chris Cussiter.
Wow, I forever feel educated in your presence.
I like to think I'm doing my bit for humanity. Anyway, enough of this. Shall we talk investment?
Let's talk rugby. No, let's talk investment.
Okay, let's talk investment. Welcome to another DB Meets JB. And here we are today in a sunny afternoon in Edinburgh at Boroughmuir Rugby Club. My name's Derek Borthwick. I'm a mind of communication specialist. And I combine the workings of the mind and the latest neuroscience to help businesses with the pitching, presenting, public speaking, sales, skills and strategies. And I'm on a mission. I want to improve the communication so that the buyer gets more from investment meetings and meetings in general, and the seller communicates more effectively. And I'm delighted today to be joined by industry legend, non-exec director, and all-round good guy, JB Beckett. How are you?
I'm very good, Derek. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. Nice to be outside for a change, JB, after the cold weather.
Untypically Scottish.
Untypically Scottish. And I'm glad to see you haven't got your Speedos on.
Oh, thank you very much.
Anyway, today, JB, I want to talk about property. Now, we're not talking about buy-to-let here. We're talking more about property funds. And these are often available in different structures. I'd be curious if you could just elaborate on what's your understanding of property investment within funds and some of the things that we should be looking at.
Sure. So let's think about it in terms of structure from an investor's point of view. The three main structures. One is what I might describe as a bricks and mortar, a direct property fund,
Sure.
which is investing into commercial property, and I'll delve into that in a second. The second is what we might call a real estate investment trust. This is a close-ended structure
Sure.
that, again, is investing into a property portfolio. And then lastly, what we might describe as a limited liability partnership. And this is a private fund that, again, is investing in a portfolio of properties.
Sure.
Now, all of those can invest in the same thing. If we then break out what we mean by commercial property, because we're certainly not talking about here about necessarily residential property. We're not necessarily talking about homes or flats or anything like that. We're talking about commercial property. We can break commercial property down into a number of other categories. One is obviously factories and warehousing.
Sure.
We sometimes refer to this as the industrials. Secondly, office space. We can all recognise offices, the large offices in town centres and in city centres. And then lastly, retail. And this is the big retail shopping malls, the large retail parks.
Yeah.
And again, this is a key area that property funds have been investing to in recent years.
Sure, no, absolutely. And if we were looking at these property funds from a fund selector's point of view, what are the things that we should be looking for when we're analysing them, JB? What are the things that you would typically look for?
So the fund selector's got to get to some sort of level of confidence about whether the fund manager can do a number of the stages of acquiring and then managing properties. So the first thing is, are they particularly good at locating, sourcing new properties?
Sure.
We call this the deal flow. Are they buying high quality properties in desirable locations that then give a very high indication of future income?
Sure.
Secondly, are they managing the risks within the property? And we'll come to the risks in a second. But do they show the ability to manage the risks? There are a couple of ways as a fund selector we can break into that. There are two main metrics that fund selectors will refer to and should be able to engage the fund manager about. The first one is the gross development value of the portfolio. And gross development value, or GDV, is basically, if you think about it, it's a summation of both the capital appreciation of the property portfolio and its income, the rental income and yield that's coming through that.
Which is important, isn't it?
Very important, very underused by fund selectors, but it is a key metric they should be thinking about.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
The second one that is a little bit more used, and again very useful, is net operating income.
Right, okay.
And this is really talking about the health of the property portfolio across it, how much income is actually coming from those properties. Ultimately, property, whilst capital appreciation might be speculatively attractive to the investor, really a property portfolio is about rental income. That's really what we're about here. Why? Because capital appreciation cycles can be susceptible to both bubbles,
Of course.
and they can be quite sensitive to the credit environment and the rate and lending environment. So you really want to know that your property fund has a good underlying foundation that's bringing that income. So I think a combination of gross development value combined with net operating income plus indications that the fund manager is good at identifying new target properties, has good deal flow, and is managing also what I would describe as a good shape to the portfolio, that it is not necessarily overly concentrated in one particular property sector.
Sure.
And geographically, again, might not necessarily be concentrated in just one area. And of course, that's a particularly topical part when we think about areas such as London.
Of course, absolutely. So the diversification is key.
Absolutely.
Yeah.